All right, guys. So Coach Liz showed a couple escapes. Now we're going to show a couple of side control attacks. We're going to take it back to the very beginning, to one of the very first submissions we all learned, but for some reason, we all seem to mess it up. So let's go back to the basics. This was going to be for kids, adults, everybody. The good old Americana from side control. So I'm getting in a good side control position. My knee is on the hip. I'm trying to get my knee in her armpit on this far side. Sometimes you can't, and they're gonna wiggle in and out with you, and you'll have to play with that one. I really like hugging this elbow on this hip too, pulling them towards me. It helps me create my pressure. And my goal is to play a 2-on-1 game. So I'm gonna play 2 of my arms versus their 1. That's how I'm gonna be able to pin it down. We also forget a lot of times that we have a third arm, which is our head. So you have that to use as a weapon too. So sometimes I'll be able to just smash this down. Big, heavy, strong. Sometimes I won't be able to. I'll have to dig my head, and I can use my head. People forget that they have that. But for the most part, I like going for this one when people are really doing this throat push. You're really doing that throat push. I'll go ahead and start to feed and pin. So now I have my 2-on-1. Let's go back a little bit and make sure we get a good spot on this. So we got our pin, our 2-on-1. Now the big key is keeping this elbow against their head. I want to keep that as tight as possible. I get my wrist control. I'm going to slide underneath. And right here is where we have problems. People like to leave this thing real far out, and they're going to have more flexibility. I'll get the tap, but I got to work really hard. We don't want to work really hard. So when I grab this, I want to pull it all nice and tight. I'm pushing this arm against her head as tight as possible, keeping my chest on top and not getting too far over. Now that I'm here, I'm gonna rev the motorcycle. So I'm taking my fist away, my knuckles away, and then I'm gonna lift my wrist up and brush. The tap is much quicker. If I just leave it out here and lift up, it takes a lot longer. I like to rev and then just come up. Her knuckles didn't even get to paint yet. All right, let's pivot. I really wanna focus in on this arm grip part. So when I have this pinned and I'm keeping this elbow against her head, and I have this tight, I want to pull it all tight. I want this all compressed next to her body. The tighter, the better. The more I compress it, the faster the tap will be. So I really want to pull all of this joint together. That's what's going to create all this pressure. So I'm here, I'm wrapped, I'm tight, and I'm pulling it all to me. I didn't even get to pivot it up yet because it's so snug. Again, I'm keeping my knees in tight. I'm pulling everything in, compressing, and then creating the pressure. Good side control, got my knee in the armpit, got my knee on the hip. I'm down low. I'm gonna use 2-on-1. My 2 versus her 1 to pin. Pin. I slide underneath, get my grip. I'm keeping this elbow on her head as much as I can and pulling everything tight. Once it's really snug, I just turn my hand out and start to come up. The motion I'm doing is I'm here, I'm pulling in, I'm kind of revving that forward, and I'm just rolling this upward. That's what's creating this super strong Americana. Boom,